It's now pretty common knowledge among F1 fans that Sebastian Vettel is leaving Ferrari at the end of the year. The news has disappointed many, and not just the people that have meme accounts on Instagram. Vettel has always been regarded as a lively character in the paddock, and despite his obsession with privacy on the internet, he always comes across as approachable and easygoing. First of all, I just want to take a few seconds of your time to ask you to subscribe to my channel. Okay, time's up, let's get back to the subject at hand. Immediately after Vettel's departure from the Scuderia, people started tossing rumours around faster than Mr. Tickle playing a baseball match. Most of them were refuted almost as quickly as they came into fruition, but the two that really stuck out were Renault and Mercedes. Mercedes admitted to having talks with Vettel, however nothing ever came of them. Renault, on the other hand, elected to hire another world champion in Fernando Alonso. So let's just remind ourselves of where Vettel couldn't go for 2021. Mercedes, Ferrari, McLaren, Renault and Williams have all announced their driver lineups for next season, and we can make some pretty good guesses as to what will happen with the remaining seats. It's safe to assume that Vettel won't be on his way to Red Bull for 2021, despite Red Bull's owner instructing Helmut Marko to bring Vettel home. Aston Martin is obvious, as Sergio Perez is already in contract with them, and let's be real here, Lawrence Stroll isn't going to fire his own son, is he? Whoa. So, why is Sebastian Vettel being rumoured to be going to Aston Martin next year? Simple, this is F1, if a driver is underperforming then it makes complete sense to get rid of him, right? Yeah, but the driver that people believe will be out of a seat next year is Sergio Perez. Granted, in his 9 years in F1 he only managed 8 podiums, but let me just remind you that Sergio Perez has never driven for a top team. When the so-called pink Mercedes was unveiled earlier this year, Perez was quick to announce that it was the most competitive car he's ever driven. Let me turn your attention, if I may, to Lance Stroll. It can't be ignored that he is only in F1 because of his dad, but he has proved in his relatively short career that he has enough speed to be worthy of an F1 seat. Whether he's worthier than Perez is merely an opinion, but of the two Racing Point drivers, it's easy to see why Perez will have to leave. This will leave most F1 fans unhappy, with #SaveCheco and #KeepCheco being used more than the short stay car park at Heathrow. Staying on the subject of Checo Perez, what can we deduce about his form looking at the first 2 races of 2020? Well, the obvious part is that he is still more than capable of getting results, but how good is he really? With people dubbing the Racing Point car the pink Mercedes, and with Ferrari seemingly out of the fight for any kind of points, surely Perez of all drivers can get the most out of it. I mean, that's what people have said in the past, right? Well, he's had a fairly average start to 2020, don't get me wrong, coming from where Racing Point were last year, it's been a world of improvement, but if the car's as good as they say, then a P5 and a P6 just doesn't cut it for me. Now, moving back to Vettel. Ignoring the recent run of poor results, we have to remember that the guy's a 4-time world champion, and you don't just win a championship in F1 without being the best of the best. If there's an opportunity that arises in a race, you can bet that Vettel will strike up on it, which is where he beats out Perez in my opinion. Okay. You see, Perez is so consistent with his results in midfield cars because he doesn't go for the ridiculous moves like other drivers would. I mean, sure, at some point you have to draw the line, but for me, Perez falls sort of around the halfway mark for aggression. However, as I'm trying my very best not to be biased here, we have to look at some of the many reasons that Sebastian Vettel may not be the ideal candidate for Lawrence Stroll's back pocket. Firstly, ignoring the sparse amount of standout performances, we have to assume that Vettel isn't at the caliber that he once was. Yes, it could be argued that the Ferrari of late doesn't suit his driving style, but when your driving style is going for moves that even Maldonado would frown upon, you'll struggle to find a car that does suit it. Secondly, Vettel is expensive. He's the second highest paid driver on the grid at $30 million per year, only trumped by Lewis Hamilton's $40 million. To put that salary in perspective for you, Racing Point currently pays Sergio Perez the humble sum of $8 million per year. That extra $22 million could be put towards so much more than just a driver, like, I don't know, enough front wings to last Danny Kvyat an entire season. Even a man of Father Stroll's wealth couldn't possibly fathom paying that amount of cash for a driver of any caliber. However, given the positive trend in Racing Point's results and the impending budget cap, you have to direct Lawrence Stroll's money in other ways, namely by hiring the best drivers you can. Vettel may not be showing fantastic form lately, but maybe this Aston Martin drive could be exactly what he needs to regain his form and hopefully take the fight to Mercedes. And so this begs the all-important question, could Vettel bring Aston Martin to the top, or should they stick with Perez? Let me know in the comments. And yeah, that is it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then of course leave a like, comment, all that kind of stuff. And if you really enjoyed it, then consider subscribing. That's all from me. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.